Well, morning all. We are on a Friday before the crazy busy Saturday, and it's kind of a busy Friday. So if you're looking at the November schedule and you're going, wow, my team has a really tough schedule this month, I'm pretty sure every team in the league does, even those that went over to Europe, and now they're going to have to play catch up. And so, yeah, their schedules are going to be pretty busy too, Tampa and Buffalo being those teams. That being said, tonight we have 10 teams playing that didn't play last night, and then tomorrow we've got 30 out of 31 teams playing, which is a really busy day. So we are going to start things off with Boston and Toronto. Now, 4 games start at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. One of them starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, meaning games are done early tonight, so I can get the review done early, and then I can get the preview for tomorrow done tonight too. Boston, 11-3-4. They have lost 4 in a row coming into this one. They're 4-3-1 away from home. Toronto, 9-7-4 overall. At home, 6-2-4. And Toronto's been struggling, there's no two ways about it. Now, looking at some of the stats we don't talk about very often, Wagner's the leading hitter for Boston with 47. Chara and McAvoy both have 31 blocked shots. Bergeron, the number one guy in the faceoffs, he's won 213. He's lost 176. Marchand, number one in shooting percentage at 23.4%. Goaltending, Rask, 926 save percentage. Halak, 916. Those numbers have been coming down. And then when you get into the team stats, well, goals for per game is still pretty good at 3.56. Goals against per game, 2.5, which is lowest on the board. However, it was 2.0 as recently as I think like 10 days ago. So yeah, that's been coming up. Shots for per game, 32.4. Shots against, 31.2. So Boston's overall game still looks fine when you look at these stats. However, they have lost 4 in a row, and Toronto is the first half of a back-to-back, so they should be better off tonight than they may be tomorrow. 9-7-4 along the way. Their leading hitter has been Moore with 46 of them. CC's their leader with blocked shots at 39, and we've started hearing some talk about Cody Ceci. It's funny because we're 20 games into the season, and now we're hearing some talk about which Maple Leafs players want to point the finger at the most, and this is where things get kind of tricky for the Maple Leafs. Face-offs, Matthews, 128 wins, 98 losses in the face-off circle. Tavares is number one in shooting percentage at 21.4. Keep in mind, the guys with really high shooting percentages, they'll usually come down before the end of the year. So if you're looking for players who might be scoring too much, or conversely not shooting enough, that's where you'll find it. Anderson has a 912 save percentage. Kaskasuo likely debuts tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Goals for per game, 3.35. Goals against per game, 3.25. So their overall numbers, they don't have the worst goals against per game on the board. They're 5th out of 8, but they're not exactly, putting up the kind of numbers that they'd like to when it comes to the defensive side of things. Shots for per game, 33.3. Shots against, 32.9. So mildly more wide open games, game in and game out for them than for Boston. And it should be a fun matchup because I think these teams know each other pretty well. Moving along. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's in against New Jersey. Pittsburgh 10-6-2. New Jersey 5-8-4. And the overall numbers, well, away from home, Pittsburgh 4-3-1. New Jersey 2-3-4 at home. So they've won 2 out of 7 at home, or they've only lost 3 in regulation at home out of 7. Glass half full, glass half empty. Tanev's the leading hitter for Pittsburgh with 72. Marcus Pettersson, the leader in blocked shots with 23. Face-offs, it's Crosby as the leader. I know he's out for 6 weeks. 199 wins, 160 losses. This is going to now fall to Malkin and see how he does. Brian Rust, 29.4% shooting. He's probably going to come down from that. Matt Murray, 914 save percentage. Tristan Jarry, 929 overall. Goals for per game, 3.28 for the Penguins. Goals against, 2.61. Those are very solid numbers. Shots for, 34.3 per game. Shots against, 29.1. So the overall numbers for Pittsburgh look pretty darn solid. On the New Jersey side, Coleman leads them in the hits with 44. Andy Green, block shots leader with 29. Travis Zajac takes the most faceoffs. He's won 134. He's lost 122. Jesper Bratt, 30.8% shooting percentage. Again, that'll probably come down. Blackwood, 895 save percentage. Corey Schneider has an 852. Blackwood is the starter. Goals for per game, 2.53 goals for New Jersey. Goals against, 3.65. Shots per game, in their favor, 28.9, and against, 29.5. So they're not taking enough shots. The only team that's taken less shots on this board per game is St. Louis. We'll get to them, but New Jersey needs more shots. And I'm not telling New Jersey fans anything that they don't know. Ironically, they may be ordering extra shots during games, but that's a completely different thing altogether, isn't it? Which then reminds me of Kevin BX and the shots. So this should be a fun one because honestly, I want to throw an Akbar magnet up there, but I didn't. I thought, no, Shannon, you used it yesterday. Don't overuse the Akbar magnets. Not yet. Tomorrow we got 15 games. There might be multiple Akbar magnets on the boards for that. All right, moving along. Montreal is in against Washington. And this is a throwback to the playoff upset from 2010, I do believe. I believe it was 2010. 10-5-3 Montreal come in, and they're playing Washington 14-2-4. On the road, they're 4-2-3. At home, Washington's 5-1-3. Now, if you're a Montreal fan and you're saying, when are we going to start getting some respect from everybody? When are we going to start seeing people respecting where we are? Tonight's game's a good start. If they go in and they beat Washington tonight, that should wake some people up. Anybody who might be left going, I'm not too sure about Montreal. A win in Washington over the Capitals should do it. And I'm saying should because there'll always be somebody who goes, I'm not convinced until March. And then in March it's we'll see how they do in the playoffs in April because that's a totally different thing. And then they win round one. See what I mean? Hits leader for Montreal is Petrie with 47. Weber leads in block shots with 34. Dano is the leader in faceoffs. He wins 192, loses 174. He also leads the team in shooting percentage at 17.8, which is a nice lower number than some of these other ones on the board. Carey Price has a 916 save percentage. Kincaid has an 879. Goals for per game, 3.44. Goals against per game, 3.06. Shots for per game, 33.5, and against, 32.6. So they're shooting a lot. They're allowing a lot of shots, 2 per game, but you got Carey Price in net. You're going to win your share of games. On the Washington side, Wilson leads in hits with 64. Everybody's surprised by that, right? Nobody? All right. Siegenthaler leads in block shots with 41. Backstrom's their face-off leader. He wins 177, loses 196. Oshie leads in shooting percentage with 24.3%. Holtby, 903 save percentage. Samsonov, 915. And as I keep mentioning, Holtby save percentage is coming up. It's getting better. And I would imagine Holtby versus Price, that's a solid matchup tonight. Goals for per game, 3.85 for the Capitals. So they're scoring at a pretty good rate. Goals against per game, 2.95 for the Capitals. Shots for, 31.4. Shots against, 31.3. So they are playing close games, but they're getting the goals and they're getting the saves when they need them. Washington's playing very, very well. Again, if Montreal is going to get that respect, if everybody's going to start talking about how great Montreal is, tonight's game's a good way of getting there. All right, next up, St. Louis in against Columbus. Again, all 4 of these games start at the same time. 4 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time if you're on the East Coast. If you're in Europe, Greenwich Mean Time. I have no idea. 12-3-4 is the record for St. Louis. 6-8-4 is Columbus's record. Away from home, St. Louis is fantastic, 7-2-1. At home, Columbus is 3-5-1. So Columbus needs to work on that. Absolutely. And again, I did my report cards yesterday. I don't think Columbus is in a different position than a lot of us had expected. The record might be a little bit worse than what was expected, but this is going to be a tough year, I think, for them. Sammy Blais leads St. Louis in hits with 57. Parayko leads in block shots with 32. Ryan O'Reilly, face-off leader, 235 wins, 172 losses, which is impressive. Shen leads them in shooting percentage at 25.6. I do believe that's come down over the last few weeks. Jordan Binnington, 921 save percentage. Allen has an 882 overall, but he's been better over the last month than he was to start. Goals for per game, 3.11 overall, 2.74 against per game for St. Louis. Shots for, 28.7. Shots against, 30.1. They are, much like the Islanders, a team that allows more shots than they get, but it's a question of scoring chances and just having superior goaltending. And that's what they've had. On the Columbus side, Foligno, 46 hits, leads the team there. Seth Jones leads them in blocked shots with 40. Wenberg, 141 faceoffs, won in his favor, 122 losses, so he still leads the team in faceoffs. Dubois leads them in shooting percentage with a low 14.6%. That seems really low. Now, people might go in and pull, oh, this guy is a 33%. If they've only scored 1 or 2 goals this year, I'm not going to put them up as the leader in shooting percentage because, honestly, they haven't taken enough shots to qualify by most standards. So, the shooting percentage for this team needs to get better. Korpisalo, 895 save percentage. Merzlikin's only an 894 now, so he's only one point behind Korpisalo. Goals for per game, 2.33. That's way too low. Goals against per game, 3.33, which is a little bit high. The only team that they've allowed less goals per game than is New Jersey, and Jersey fans will tell you they allow too many goals per game. Shots for per game, 33.7, and against, 30.8. So they're getting more shots than they're allowing. Their shooting percentage isn't very good. Their save percentage could be improved a little bit. It's a kind of a perfect storm with the Blue Jackets, and the Hurricanes are nowhere to be found on the board, so I can't make a Hurricanes remark around this. But, that being said, I now need to change boards for the other game of the night. Other game of the night is Philadelphia in against Ottawa. This is an interesting one. So Philadelphia 10-5-3, away from home they're 4-4-1. Ottawa 7-10-1 overall at home, they're 5-4. Ottawa's very good at home. Now, for Philadelphia, they have been making a case that they are a much improved team from last year. To me, there's been just not enough regulation wins for my liking. The NHL app, for people who are wondering, I've seen people saying NHL app, the standings only show regulation overtime wins. They have updated the app. So it now shows regulation wins. So you can go in and get a look at where teams stand. And honestly, the difference in regulation wins between one team and another can be huge. Philadelphia, Niskanen, 35 hits, leads the team there. Braun, 25 block shots. Claude Giroux, 209 face-off wins, 138 losses. Lindblom leads the team in shooting percentage with 19.5. Again, technically it was Philippe Myers. He hasn't played or shot enough for me to say, oh yeah, he's the leader in shooting percentage, because you need a bigger sample size than he's provided. Carter Hart now has a 904 save percentage. Elliott, 909. Goals for per game, 3. An even 3 for Philadelphia. Goals against, 2.83. Shots, 4 per game, 34.3. And against, 29.2. They are controlling the puck very well. They're starting to get the goaltending they need. Everything's starting to come together for Philly. It's kind of been a slow build, and it kind of reminds me of what St. Louis did in the West, where when their winning streak started and they started putting some points together, it wasn't that impressive, but eventually became impressive as that winning streak continued. Philadelphia, as it's gone along, it's getting more and more impressive for them. Tonight, they've got a test in Ottawa. Borowiecki leads the team in hits with 71, and he's honestly become a pretty solid leader for the Ottawa Senators. Zaitsev, 53 blocked shots. Pajot leads in faceoffs. He's got 150 wins and 160 losses. He also leads in shooting percentage at 24.4%. So again, when you're looking at somebody who's probably scoring a little bit too much right now, Jean-Gabriel Pajot is that guy. I'm not one of those ones that if you're in a fantasy league, I'll say, oh, sell on him, sell on him. I have seen so many articles already this year on who you should buy or who you should sell from websites where you've got all these fantasy guys that should know the future. And I've gone, why would you sell now? And mostly it's been about 50-50 at best. So again, I'm not saying that Pajot's going to stop scoring tonight. I'm not saying he's going to stop scoring over the next 3 to 5 games. Just eventually, the pace he's been on, that shooting percentage, it's going to drop. Nilsson, 921 save percentage. That's a drop from 930 that it was, and I think in reality it'll probably end up settling around the 910 to 915 mark before the season's out. Anderson, 893 save percentage. Goals per game, goals for, they're scoring 2.83. They're allowing 3.33. So the numbers aren't as bad as it might be expected of the Ottawa Senators this year. They're really not. Shots per game in their favor, 30.5, against them, 34.2. They are allowing too many shots, which is no surprise to anybody at all. No surprise at all. The Senators last year allowed a lot of shots. This year they're doing that as well. That comes with inexperience, with a lack of the top-end talent, and just the defense in front of them. I do think that'll change as the coaching gets better and better with it, and we see them adjusting more and more to what's needing to be adjusted to. But in general, Ottawa's not going to be a playoff team, but at least if they're competitive and if they can give Philadelphia a good test tonight, that's really all you can ask for. So there you go. You're all set for tonight's games. Let me know your thoughts, predictions, all that other wonderful stuff in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and I'll talk to you again soon.